The following podcast is intended for mature audiences. If you enjoy our work, please like, comment, subscribe, and follow the links in the description. Thanks for your support, and enjoy.
Greetings and salutations, listener. It is I, Eric J. Chucci, joined as always by the running back to my quarterback, the boy.
Yeah, all right. Hey.
I call the shots, you catch the ball, and you drive it home.
Don't stretch this further than it needs.
I tell you what to do, and then you run away. So I had this idea. Well, no, not really. I've actually just kind of been wanting to play sports games, video games. Good God, actual physical activity. No, thank you. That would just be
Yeah, we're not
extraordinarily
crazy.
sad. But I used to play sports games, and they were fun. I had a football game on N64. I played lots of basketball games. I actually, in my youth, used to play street basketball. I went to basketball camp for a couple months one summer. Surprise, surprise, if you've ever seen me, I'm sure. But I've been asking a couple of my friends for like years. I've been meaning to do this. What sports games were good, what was a good representation, etc., etc. So I went to my local video store. We still have a brick and mortar video store. It's a family video. And rented Madden 2K16 because they didn't have 17. And NBA 2K17.
And because I am in the same house as him, and I mean, like fun things, I decided that I would play them also.
Yeah.
I played a lot more sports games as a kid, because my brother-in-law, who I've mentioned several times on the podcast, really loves sports games, and I enjoy fun things. And I ended up liking them too. I was never as good at them as he was, obviously, because he had many years of experience on me, and, I was a kid. And my twitch reflexes didn't make up the difference,
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've been playing sports games since, the NES era. One of the games I had when I was a little kid was tennis. And I played that a lot.
But I neither of us have really played them at all for years.
Yeah, I mean, it's been at least 10 years. At least.
Yeah, I'd say pretty much that for me as well.
Yeah. I want to say I rented a sports game on PlayStation 2. So that would have been like 13 years ago, maybe 14. But
maybe a little longer for me, but somewhere around there.
Sure. But as much as we're nerds and we don't follow.
What is the running bounce ball?
Yeah.
How does one do the hand egg? It's a good meme, but I mean, we live in the country. We kind of get the rules.
Sure, and I mean, like we've got our favorite teams and stuff that we cleaved to in our youth for whatever reason.
In one case, picked because we like the mascot.
Terrified of the mascot and respect the mascot.
Yes, of course. We must not disrespect the terrifying Mr. Red.
No. He is strong. He is mighty. His eyes pierce your soul.
But
yeah, so
and for me, in one case, because they're in the same city as my favorite team of another sport.
Good. That's a great reason. Hey, it's the reason most people pick. It just also happens to be their hometown.
Yeah, no, for me, it's a Lakers fan. I was like, you need a favorite hockey team? Fine, Kings. They're in LA. Same place. Fine.
They don't have a favorite hockey team.
Someone demanded that I pick one, so I picked one. Now it's my favorite hockey team.
I liked the Penguins when I was young because Penguins, but that's not a great reason to pick a favorite sports team.
No.
I
liked the Bulls when I was young because Michael Jordan.
I liked the Charlotte Hornets when I was young because of Muggsy Bogues. And I liked the 49ers when I was young because of Tecmo Bowl and Joe Montana.
I eventually stuck with the Lakers, just because once Jordan retired, I happened to like that team when they were on. I basically just picked them randomly, like most children do for sports teams, I assume, when it's not, I'm going to pick the team that's where I'm from.
Yeah.
And now most of the teams I like are in LA, which is very convenient. Except for the fact that I don't live in L.A.
Sure. The other side of the fucking country, actually.
Yeah.
You could get farther away, but not much.
While still being in the United States, I'd have to take a plane.
Yes. So, enough of the history. We started out with NBA 2K17. And I mean, like, shit's changed. Shit's different now.
Okay, alright.
Like everywhere.
Remember, we've been out of the sports games for 10 years. So if we mention something that's like, that's been around for, if it's less than 10 years, yeah, no shit, we'll still be surprised by it. I don't know when we decided that all basketball games must simultaneously be the most complex neurosurgery, and you can play them with the control sticks and nothing else. I don't know why we have to do both of those.
I remember a time when, like, you just used the buttons for that shit. And, like, when I'm playing, I feel like I'm not using enough buttons. And then there are also times where I feel like there are too many buttons and I'm scared.
Because there's a lot of controls which are very fiddly, is the only way to describe them. Mm-hmm. Because the tutorial will tell you, we didn't find the tutorial until after our first game. The tutorial will tell you, the ways to do it. And when you try and do it in a live game, it doesn't really work if you're the human player. The game is fun when you're playing with somebody else. Me and Spork played. We had a great time.
Sure.
We did the Lakers versus the Hornets, and then we did our favorite versions of my favorite version of the Lakers versus his favorite version of the Hornets, because they have like a classic team section, which is nice. I got to dunk on Muggsy Bogues' Shaq, which is probably the most comical thing that you've ever seen.
I mean, let's be honest though, like, the 90s Hornets pretty much were the team from Kuroko no Basuke. There was a little guy who was well good at passing the ball, and a big guy who was well good at dunking. And a bunch of dudes who made three-pointers.
I'm sorry, sir, I don't watch your Japanese animation cartoon.
Well, you should. Actually, it's just really good. I didn't realize that when I started watching the show. And then I selected the characters, and I was like, ha, ha, ha. Here's another weird thing about the game. Presentation. First of all, I booted up this game, and it's like, all right, make a character, and I'm like, for what?
And we played the game a fair amount. Did you ever find out what that was for?
He was like my icon in the upper right, and then when I ventured into career mode to try and make a team, which it turns out you can't play in the Play Now, quick play version.
Which is dumb.
I mean, just asinine. What happened to create modes? This goes for both of those games. I want to be able to create more than players. I want to create my own stupid team and put them in horrible, garish neon clothes on a field with a stupid logo and then force my friends to have to deal with that shit. That's fun.
I don't, but that's because it involves playing those games.
Well, and like...
Well, no. We'll get to the football game later.
We'll get to it. But even the basketball game, too. I mean, I made some really cool teams, but I couldn't export them to the regular play mode. I could only play them in single-player career.
Which is dumb. I want to be able to make a team of, like, super goth rebel dudes who are super try-hard and then do flashy fucking Harlem Globetrotters pull your pants down dunk plays.
There was, because I don't follow your regular deportes. I don't really know who most of the people are.
Look, I have favorite sports teams. I could tell you literally nothing about most of them.
I know a couple.
In the current day and age.
Like, I know Kaepernick.
I know the name Kaepernick, too. But it has nothing to do with liking that team.
Well, no,
it's just he has a really unique name, and for some reason, sportsmen mention it a lot.
Well, the Niners were in the Super Bowl a couple years ago.
Right.
And he is astounding. Like, he's very good.
I know Tom Brady, because he's the devil.
Sure. I couldn't tell you what team he plays for. The New Orleans Channing Tatums? I don't know.
It's the Patriots.
Okay, sure.
The always winning ones. The ones who always win.
But there was also Shaq.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So, to understand this, for proper context is important.
Context is key.
You need to understand how this game went. So, at first, it was as if the very competent NBA players were occasionally being possessed by ghosts who weren't human before, and they're trying to figure out what all these crazy limbs are for. And they're willing to go along with your weird game / ritual, but they don't really understand how. In that section of the game, Spork pulled away to a pretty fair early lead.
Sure.
And then we, the non-human ghosts who are possessing these competent basketball players, I'm just thinking like an NBA game movie would be pretty great. if they went full comedy.
Yeah. Or if it was like a really dark, serious thing, like that one video game movie where they controlled that one dude.
But like, no, it has to be something where they don't know they're being controlled.
Oh,
because
yeah,
you can get that thing in the middle.
Yeah.
You can get that thing in the middle where it's where he like dunks on somebody and then just starts like crouching over him. I have no idea why I'm doing this.
I am so sorry. I respect you so much.
It's okay, man. I get it.
It's the basketball ghosts.
So I end up pulling away because I noticed that if you run directly at the basket and then do a layup when you're fighting another human person, that usually works. So that's what I did. And I would start metagaming in a way where I would grab one dude and pull him all the way away to the other side of the court right before a shot. So when I got the rebound, I could huck it across the court to him and he could lay it up. These are things which should not work. But they did because Spork didn't know how to defend against them, and I sort of only vaguely intuited how I was doing them in the first place.
Well, and it was also like a lot of my AI. I'm not going to sit here and say that I was playing perfectly or any shit like that. Hell no. I just picked up the game. I was doing mediocre.
Same.
It was just the fact that because mechanical reasons, my team was like, hey, you know how when our teammate shoots the ball, at least a couple of us should try to be around the basket to catch it for a rebound?
Oh, it was more than that. Your team, they mentioned that the Charlotte Hornets in this game struggle with protecting their paint, the inside, the forbidden zone, where you're not allowed to stay for very long.
Yes, which is the rule I was not aware of.
And your guys were very bad at that.
They just left.
They just let me go in. I would just grab someone on the Lakers, perhaps that nice man with a nice high top fade, and walk into the paint and then do a layup, and then I would leave.
Yeah, and I'd just be like, why didn't anyone try to do anything about that?
And I eventually figured out that so long as I just switched my character to someone who didn't have to defending someone when I was on defense, who didn't have the ball, and I just ran near him as much as possible when I was playing against you.
Sure.
The computer did a fine job of defending against you on its own without any of my input.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and the game was fun. We were having a great time. We were laughing.
Yeah,
we had
a lot of fun. But getting to Shaq,
that's the important. The game was fun, but the announcers are really mean.
The white guy is okay. He's your play-by-play. He's just sort of talking about the game.
The two color commentators are heel commentators, and one assumes that you, the player, are the face.
The dude on the right, when they show you the promotional videos, during which Shaq dances a lot. Shaq is always up to weird shit. Shaq is on the left, and he's dancing, and he's making faces, and it's and it's not live footage. They mocapped all of this, and it's really context sensitive. If it didn't piss me off the rest of the game so much, I'd love that shit, because that's really cool. The attention to detail, the realism of the presentation, the fact that these are the guys who do it on the show.
And they give very genuine analysis.
Yeah, they do.
Except for the problem is...
The guy on the right.
We weren't doing very well. So I was winning, so I got off light. But Spork...
No. He was so mean.
They roasted him. We got to the halftime show, and Shaq spent a solid 5 minutes, and I'm not joking, 5 solid minutes, unmaking White as a person. Just roasting him. You're bad at doing shots. You're bad at defense. You It's just your ball handling is terrible. You just keep dropping the basketball. That's not what you want. And he just kept going. He kept going and just destroying him in a very mean way. Which, because we don't know the controls very well, it's not like a helpful reminder to do this. It's just, hey, you don't know the controls of this game very well. I'm gonna be mean to you about that. Fuck you, Shaq.
Fuck you, Shaq, and Other Man. Other Man came in more often. It was just that one time Shaq destroyed me. Most of the time, Shaq made up for it by dancing later, which is good.
Other Man,
the other guy, he did not do
we
a
don't
dance.
know who is a real basketball play-by-play.
Yeah,
we saw him at a restaurant the other day.
Yeah.
Not in person, on the TV.
On the TV, yeah.
Again, I don't live in L.A.
I looked up pictures of Center Man because he had a really bad CGI haircut.
He's real, right?
Yeah, he is real, and his haircut isn't that bad, but I see what they were going for.
Okay, fair enough.
His son died of cancer not too long. That's very sad. And
Hey,
I'm sorry,
this is a happy podcast, maybe?
Is it? I put my feelings out there for him. He had a little bow tie, and
But long story short, the game was fun when we played it with other people.
Yeah, and
So
then
we had like high hopes.
I'm going to skip past the football for a second because that's going to be long. I decided to sit down and play it like Sunday, I think, Saturday.
Side note, before you get into this, I did dumpster him twice.
Oh yes, well 3 times if you count the street ball. Although it wasn't as bad on the street ball.
The street ball was more even.
Yeah.
But like, I don't take real credit for that. But in our never-ending war, I must note the
Sure,
points.
that's fine. I get your little crown. We don't have a sports tournament, and God, we never will.
And nope.
But yeah, I decided to play again one of those days, one of the days of the weekend, and I was just playing by myself because I paid the money to rent the games. I might as well enjoy them. And oh my God, the AI! Like, first of all, and we kind of glossed over this complaint, which is a complaint I still had and I meant to mention. While I respect that from a simulation aspect, you are going to want your teams to be similar to their real-life counterparts.
Have the same strengths, have the same weaknesses. The Lakers are also a team that is, in their current iteration, I'm given to understand from the video game, very good at driving into the paint. And ended up working, those two things in conjunction ended up not working out well for you.
That one time where you played the version of the Lakers that had Shaq, you couldn't make a free throw for him for saving your life. The first one you made, the rest, no.
No, and I got all the bar all the way up into the green where it's supposed to go in, and it would just bounce out. Shaq is very bad at free throws.
And that's just facts. That's just facts. And that's nice, but like, if I want to play my friend, and I happen to enjoy a team that's, let's say, not the Los Angeles Lakers, and not the Cleveland Cavaliers with their Kobe, I'm screwed. I'm not going to win. It is so highly unlikely that I'm going to win.
To put it in perspective, it's the same reason why RPG mechanics that provide a tangible mechanical difference in the player's ability to put through action into the game are bad in most competitive games. Like, you don't see RPG elements in Overwatch, you don't see RPG elements in League of Legends. You don't, and it's for a very good reason.
Or in fighting games. Like, how much would it suck if you turned on Street Fighter and sat down to play your friend and you find out that Ken is statistically crappier than Ryu for some reason?
Or like he's got the special Street Fighter 3 edition of Ken, the classic Ken, who is just mechanically better than basically every other fighter.
Sure, like that.
Like,
I mean,
say if I played the classic Bulls.
Yeah, I mean, we're not talking just about, like, the meta game where eventually a rough bracket breaks out. I'm talking about literally, in-game terms, when Ken does any of his moves, they are a quarter of the power of Ryu's. Well, 3/4 of the power of Ryu's.
And so Ryu is just, in this scenario, broke.
Sure, or, Ken is not worth picking. You need to pick Ryu, Blanca, Zangief, or no one else, because they're not worth it.
I get it in the career mode, you want that. In the GM mode, you want that, because that part of the joy is the RPG. It's building your team up. But in versus mode...
Well, and I can see why you would want those stats to be, to focus on what those players are good at, but especially in, like, quick play, you want it to be closer so that either as a player, against the computer, you can, in theory... beat the other team, or have a challenging match against the other team.
Or, you want it to be closer because you're one person. Your 4 co-op players, the other people on the field are AIs. AI co-ops are not as good. So while you might be able to go, all right, I'm playing the Lakers. They're good at this. I should play like that. I should watch out for this because that's what they have. That's what they struggle defending against. The rest of the team can't do that. They're robots. So
robots programmed to play like the Lakers and nothing else.
Yeah. So you can't make up for your own deficits. The robots are indeed designed to have those deficits.
Right. So, like, in those situations, and the Hornets weren't even that bad. God help me if I'd played one of the teams near the bottom.
Yeah, I think actually in the modern incarnation, the Hornets are slightly ranked higher than the Lakers.
No, Lakers are still way better.
I didn't look at the numbers.
Not like in the sense that, it's not fair, you picked, like, really unfair guys. Just in the sense that they're just better.
I don't follow basketball.
I don't.
Haven't for years.
It's, whatever. But, so there's that. Like, it would just be nice to have a mode where I can just hit, like, casual play or something like that. I'll even call it casual. I'm a filthy casual when it comes to sports games. I said it right here. Filthy casual.
Yeah. I mean, slap on my casual, console peasant, whatever mean things you want to call me, fine, good, yes. But can I have a game mode where the teams are balanced and I can play the team I want to play against my friend without being an numerical disadvantage? Or a numerical advantage that takes the sweet, sweet joy out of my eventual dumpstering of him?
Because, like, I mean, you go to all the effort to put this, 30-some-odd teams? Maybe more? Well, no, there were way more because they did foreign teams and classic teams. You put all the effort to put all these teams in the game, and half of them at least are garbage.
And if someone's playing the 1%, the remaining 99% might as well not be on the field.
It's just a waste of time. Now, in career mode, I get it. You're supposed to build them up so that they can beat the Lakers or whoever. So they can take out Kobe. But
I think this is a good, point to transition over to the next thing. That's true. In theory.
So, I was playing against the AI, as we established. And I started out playing the modern Hornets. I wanted to get better at them. And I kind of understood their strategies. And I picked a team that was around the same level as I was.
There's no one who's going to be exactly the same, so you got someone of roughly the same quality.
Right. They were better in one field and worse in two, because I know I'm bad and I wanted an advantage. But it wasn't like way worse or way better. And it was the Nuggets. I'm playing against them, and they're just destroying me. And it's my AI. I mean, yes, I'm messing up, like I said earlier, but my AI doesn't want to be anywhere near the basket. If I shoot, my whole team goes to the other half of the court. Assuming I'm going to make my shot. Now, I can respect, a couple of the guys, 2 or 3, but, someone else should stay there for a rebound. That's how basketball works. That's what you do.
And even if the Charlotte Hornets as a team are bad at rebounds, not that bad.
Not so bad as they're just forget it. The fouls. And this is also what happened. Because it was bad enough when I was playing against the boy. They kind of drift you toward the foul metagame. Here I mean metagame in the sense that we are no longer playing basketball. We are playing how can I get opportunities for more free throws. Which is true of the real sport, as I understand it.
Yeah. It's actually a very common strategy in the real sport. Or at least it was back when I watched. It's called drawing fouls.
Sure, yeah.
You're supposed to draw as many fouls as you can from the enemy team. That way you get more free throws, more free points.
It took me some time to understand how the foul system worked. What was not allowed.
So the foul system is way more forgiving when you're fighting a human. It just is.
Yes.
Because when we were playing together, I spammed that attempt steal button always. I was always attempting to steal. Anytime I was near you, I was attempting to steal. Every time I pressed it later in this story, when I was fighting the AI, I got a foul. Every time.
I never stole it.
No, never successfully.
Never. I was getting clowned on by the Harlem Globetrotters is what it felt like. And this is 2 even teams, and I'm not that bad. I have twitch reflexes. Damn it! I understand the controls. I played the tutorial, and I understand the fouls. Yet somehow I am just they're constantly drawing fouls out of me. They would get me for charging out of nowhere. they would, do this and that, to the point that I had to start playing this foul game instead of basketball. And maybe that's fun for somebody, but God, that's not what I want to do when I think about basketball. I'm not even talking about reducing this to street ball, which is an option they had, and I appreciate it. But, just like, let there be fouls, but this drawing out the fouls, that's just annoying. It's stopping the entire flow of the game for free throws, Like, that seems like the kind of bullshit strategy another human player would employ, not the AI.
Well, the thing is, it's the AI is employing it because other human players and coaches in real life employ it. It's very prominent.
Sure, no, and that's fine. I don't think it's very fun.
Yes, it's one of the reasons I don't watch basketball anymore.
Sure. So, like, I was like, you know what? Maybe the Hornets just aren't meant to be. Fine, I'll give in. I picked the Cavs. And this was the Kobe Cavs. This was his last year of them.
LeBron. His name's LeBron.
Oh, LeBron. I'm sorry. Not Kobe. Kobe was also good, right?
Yes.
This is how much I know about modern sports. LeBron. I picked the LeBron Cads. I had Cads. Those Cads.
Yeah.
I had... I think I went up against the Nuggets again.
So you were really stacking the deck this time?
Yeah. They destroyed me. Just destroyed me. Embarrassed me. LeBron wasn't worth a shit.
So, at this point, he's frustrated enough to turn the game off. But I step in and go, no. If I'm to have an informed opinion about this game, I need to play against the AI also.
And I'm figuring, since Boy dumpstered me as much as he did, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just that bad. Let's see how it plays out.
Like, he actually called his shot. He Babe Ruth that shit and went, no, you're going to destroy them and make me look like an idiot. So, I played the AI, and boy, howdy. Nope. I played the modern Lakers, I believe is what I picked.
I think so.
Yeah, possibly the classic ones, but I don't know. I don't remember. It's not important to the story. I went and found the worst team I could find, and I put them against each other. And I didn't get clowned on, because eventually I had to start playing real defensively. But they had a solid 10-point lead. Solid. Rock solid. And it was rock solid because we've made this joke a lot, and I know, they're mentioning the Globetrotters again. Do they know no other basketball teams? No, it's just that it's that cartoonish. They went from the Harlem Globetrotters fucking stunting on me. They got above plus 10 above, and they turned into the Washington Generals. They become, I can make baskets, I can do plays, I can do stuff again until I try and close that 10-point lead, at which point, nope, rubber band AI directly back into the hardest setting. And it's just the most bullshit feeling. Because the things that don't really work so well if you're a human player worked just fine for them. They had a magic hold person spell they could cast that made it so that I couldn't move forward, couldn't go around them, and couldn't back up with one player. I had to pass the ball. Whereas, as me, the human player, I have no button combination which will cast this magical hold person spell.
That was another thing, was the control layout. Like, I can think in my head, right now, of a better way to do that controller layout. And the short version is, your face buttons do all the actual stuff. Jumping, passing, shooting, and maybe juking, and then your shoulder buttons modify those. Those are the easiest buttons to press in tandem to modify your shit. And the shoulder buttons are all, like, individually corresponding to a certain mentality. Defensive, mobility, offensive, something else. Flashy, sure, why the fuck not? But no, this is not what they did.
For when you really want to stunt on a motherfucker.
There's all this weird control stick integration that is supposed to be for juking and stunt
But
dribbles.
they also tied the shoot button. They also, you could have a button to shoot the basketball, but also the stick that was supposed to be used for doing fancy dribbles and side jukes and stuff also would occasionally do the basketball shooting. What? That's terrible!
Well, and the other thing, and this is just my lack of familiarity with the game, eventually after playing it long enough, I would remember not to do this, but when you are on offense, when you have the ball, 3 of the face buttons are pass. The other one is shoot. And so I would sometimes alternate between them just to sort of keep the opponents guessing, and that kind of worked. That was how I got a lot of good, pass the ball around to confuse them plays happening. But I also, in the spirit of that, would occasionally receive the ball from a magic rebound that my team somehow did, and then huck it across the entire court like my life depended on the shot that was happening at exactly 3 minutes 58 seconds on the clock.
And you did that once in our game, and boy howdy did Shaq let you have it over
Oh
there.
my god. He was like, that was dumb. You're dumb. I'm Shaq. Shaq dance.
So, the game is fun. Verdict on NBA 2K17. The game is fun so long as you have another human to play against.
And even then, it's a little counterintuitive.
You're gonna need to do some competitive balancing of your own.
Also, you have an entire creation suite for players, for teams, for courts.
And none of it is usable to what I would consider is most likely the main usage of a basketball game, which is to play it on your couch with your buds.
Yeah. Or across the internet with your buds, for that matter.
I don't understand. I don't understand.
But anyway, let's move on to football. We had Madden 2K16. This game opened by trying to force me to play the Super Bowl from last year, the Falcons versus whatever team the Falcons are up against.
No thanks. Fuck off.
And, I appreciated it because after I skipped it, it was like...
a tutorial.
Sure, partially. After I skipped it, it was like, there are branching story paths you may have missed. And I'm like, oh, shit. Fucking branching story paths. Getting deep on me, Madden. But it was nice. It was like, okay, select your favorite team, and that'll always be the default home team when you go to start a game. Cool. There was a little bit of theming.
Is that why that was?
Yeah.
That's neat.
Yeah. I don't know why they picked your favorite team. That was just random. I didn't pick that for you. But so I'm looking around. No creation mode. There's a player creating mode that I didn't bother going into. And I'm sure that was nice. I'm sure you could design their individual sleeves and what kind of face mask they had. But if I can't make a team, what? Come on.
It's a team game.
Yeah, come on. It's a team game. Like, you get your individual players that are important, but you forget them in 4 years. It's just how it works.
Like, I didn't have any of that startup experience.
No.
My startup experience was we started to play the game. We started to play the game.
That's a theory.
That's what we thought was happening.
So, and let me illustrate this for you. As much as Boy had kicked my ass when we were playing the basketball game, I was wrecking him to the point that I felt bad.
It was like, he felt so bad because I was frustrated, not about losing. I'm not 14. I'm not 12. It's fine. I was frustrated because a bunch of shit was happening that I felt like I wasn't responsible for. Like, a bunch of things were happening with my, I would throw the ball, and my quarterback would throw it 19 miles away from where the person I was trying to attack was. A couple times I legitimately did switch the couple buttons, because X is on the Xbox controller and the PlayStation controller, and I play mostly Xbox, and this was a PlayStation game, so I saw, okay, cool, X, and then my muscle memory kicked in, and we picked
hit
A.
square.
Wee! Okay, sure, okay. That happened a couple times, and I was frustrated about that. And I was also frustrated that the controls for the field goal and punt and kickoff kicking are bad.
They reminded me of the golf swing controls in old Tiger Woods games.
Whereas I was always more of a hot shots golf guy.
Sure, I can see that.
But once I got the hang of them,
I took to them pretty quick.
Once I got the hang of them, it says pull back and flick forward. No. You pull back and you hold forward until the computer acknowledges that you have pressed forward, and then you let go.
Yeah.
But so he actually asked if I wanted to stop. I said no. We continued, and then,
well, I had noticed that a couple of my players were moving when I wasn't pushing the button. And I'm not talking about the AI guys. Obviously, that's their job. But, I would switch to, a running back when I threw a pass or a halfback or something. And my guy would keep moving before I pushed the stick. which I kind of get as like a countermeasure to, it's not so you don't hit. I switch to this guy and the guy stops dead, thus losing all momentum if he was like chasing a dude or whatever. I get that, but so then I just didn't. I picked a play. I believe that's an outside cat.
That's weird. Very audible. Anyway.
Not to you guys, just to us. So yeah, I picked a play, and then I just didn't touch the controller.
And if memory serves, I was successfully stopped on that play, was I not?
Yeah.
Long story short, I started winning.
Yes.
Really, really, really a lot. And at a certain point, I realized I had nothing to do with this. Nothing. As the quarterback, I felt like I had agency. I chose when we snapped the ball. I chose which person I was trying to throw it to. I have nothing to do with whether they catch it. I have nothing to do with whether or not it's thrown correctly. It's like playing a claw machine.
Yeah.
And then I was like the game. It became clear to me at a certain point that the game's universe was self-correcting. It had decided that I was going to win this game, and neither Spork nor I could stop it. We kept playing, and it happened again like in the basketball game, in the second half, the entire second half, aside from genuinely trying to throw the ball to someone and snapping the ball and not intentionally just never snapping the ball on offense, on defense, I was actively trying to lose.
He would get fouls, screaming, "I am Connor McLeod of the Clan McLeod."
There was a guy on the team named McLeod, and I laughed at that and went, Connor McLeod of the Clan McLeod, I'm coming for you. There can be only one. This was before the snap. I was a back of some type, I assume. And I ran around the entire line of scrimmage and stopped right in front of the quarterback, between him and the center. Remember, ball had not been snapped.
For those of you playing the home game, that's not allowed. Otherwise, they do it all the time. Because what a great way to get a free sack. And, like, the whole time I'm sitting there knowing that, and I'm like, that's not allowed. Why are they not flagging the play? But it's like the referee just gave him fucking goodwill, and he's like, nah, he'll go back before they snap the ball.
Maybe he's talking about him with something.
Maybe they're chatting, I don't know.
But, like... And I just stood there, and I was like, I'm coming for you. There can be only one. Connor McLeod's going to get you. It was like, they're not going to let you do that. He presses to snap the ball, assuming that they will flag the play.
Right.
And then they don't.
They just don't, and he sacks me.
And I go, and I was like, in my head, I'm sure they're right. He flags, he snaps the ball, and there's no flags. So I go, no, they totally will. And then I just sack him.
I mean, they did flag it afterward, but, like, why?
The next time, I tried to do the exact same thing. I picked McLeod when we went to renewed first down. I picked McLeod, and I started to walk right around. This time, I got flagged immediately.
Yes, immediately. So, I don't know, maybe that's a thing in the actual football.
Like, they give you one, like, goodwill shot. But then that just became, like, on defense. I would pick McLeod, who was way back in the backfield. Like, he was supposed to be covering someone who was passing. Nope. He would walk all the way up, and I would attempt to sack Spork while screaming, Connor McLeod of the Clan McLeod of the Clan McLeod of the Clan McLeod.
It was pretty funny.
It was the best part of the game.
I should not have to make my own fun in order to enjoy a game, however. But the biggest thing, the biggest issue was the more time went on, the more we realized we were not playing this game.
Like, on defense, I wasn't joking. When he was passing, I would change to people who were covering, people who were who were covering receivers, and I would have them run off the field. Like, I would just have them run all the way off the field. Wouldn't affect whether or not that pass was caught.
Try to go get a Gatorade.
On several kick returns, I tried to pick the person who was about to tackle him and have them run away. It worked one time where this dude who was like barreling like a freight train into this kick receiver veered off, looking like Scion from League of Legends. But then the very next guy just snapped him. And he got not one more yard than when I was actually defending. That's the important part. In the first half, I was actually trying to stop him. He went 27 yards on kick returns, on average. Second half, it literally exact same yardage, and I was actively trying not to.
There was another thing that I noticed was a big change from when I used to play football games. Like I said, the last time was probably the N64. Maybe slightly later after that, but this is the biggest time I remember. You had to position yourself to catch the ball. I don't think you had to push a button to catch the ball, because that's a little asinine, but you had to position yourself. Here, the game automatically puts you directly where the ball is going to go, and then gives you the ball. What is the purpose of this ritual? Why does it matter where you kick it if I am going to magnet stick to where it goes?
And then, you're supposed to run it back, only you're never going to get more than like 25 yards.
No, because the other AI, like, the longer this went on, here's where you have agency as a player in this game. You pick the plays, like the coach do. You
decide when they snap the ball on offense. You
decide when they snap the ball, in case you decide you want a penalty. You choose which man to throw to.
And then you are once you catch the ball, you do have to keep the analog stick pointing forward so that he will run forward.
And you can press a button when catching the ball to try to put a little stank on it. And when you are a linebacker, you can
it'll give you a little timing minigame, and if you press the Simon Says button within the timing minigame, you get a bonus and you defeat the other linebacker. That's it.
That's it. Like, it felt like I was watching a football game with occasional input. It felt like a football choose-your-own-adventure.
It felt like I was the coach of a football game who occasionally got to snap the football and choose who to throw to.
Which, as you mentioned, was really good football simulation, because on a football team, it's not about the individuals, it's about the team.
It's a machine. Football players are highly specialized athletes. They're a machine. They're a unit. And the coach is really the one who makes calls.
Everyone's job is to do what the coach says.
/ quarterback once you're on the field.
Sure.
The coach is the general. The quarterback is the highest ranking officer on the mission.
Yeah.
So, that's it, and that's all that exists. You're a highly specialized athlete. The best way to win a football game is to do what the coach said when the coach said to do it. And if the quarterback sees something going not according to plan, his job is to call a change up on the fly. That is it, and that's fucking boring as a video game.
Now, I'm fully aware, and I didn't test for this because...
You
guys remember Hey Ash, What You Playing? It was an old video series before Ashley Birch went on to do voice acting more predominantly. It was her brother who writes for the guys who do Borderlands and stuff, and I forget the game dev team, Treasure or something like that, and their dad. And there was one game they played on this show that was like some kind of singing game. And Papa Birch, as they called him, got up to the singing game. It was some dumb, annoying song. He said not a word. It said that he cleared it with 5 stars, super complete, perfect. He pushed the button to eject the game from the system, snapped it in half, threw it away, and left. And if I had not rented this game from somewhere else, if I had perhaps paid a small amount of money...
got out of a bargain bin.
I would have done the exact same fucking thing.
It's a bad video game. And it's the reason I don't watch football, because and this is something we came to later in the discussion. Football, hand egg, not proper football, is boring to watch because it's the meta of that game is stagnant.
Here, speaking of meta as the superior strategy,
there is a superior strategy in football. It is fairly layered in that there are sometimes when you want to do option A, which is run the football, sometimes when you want to do option B, which is throw the football, but that's really the only big difference.
So stagnant is the football meta that apparently in the last couple years they changed field goal distance to try and shake things up a little bit.
Because no one ever missed the extra point field goal. Ever, unless their leg fell off mid-attempt.
Which, is still it's just you guys are kicking it a little farther now. It's not
A little harder, guys.
nobody's gonna
A little harder.
Nobody's gonna sack your kicker. That's it. And I think you get fouled for that.
You don't get fouled for sacking him if he hasn't already kicked the ball. Once he kicks the ball, you're not allowed to sack him.
Yeah. True.
You're allowed to stop him from kicking the ball. You're not allowed, I think, to kill him after he kicks the ball.
Right, because he's wee and probably only wearing one shoe. So not only is the meta of this game super boring, but it was playing itself. Now, I recognize that perhaps this is because when it gave me a difficulty option, I chose the smallest one. Because when the difficulty options were laid out, because I don't believe you were here for this, it had like some variant of from rookie, 3 or 4 difficulties in between, and then like Madden Extra Double Pro. And the way they explained those options to me, it was like, this is for somebody who's less familiar. This is for somebody who's played a lot of sports games. This is for somebody who's maybe been to tournaments. And this is for somebody who is competitively challenging for tournaments. So those descriptions, I thought they were AI settings. It's entirely possible that they might have been, well, we'll play the game for you settings. But this was not relayed to me.
And if so, may I just say that on the off chance they were, we'll play the game for you settings. 1, that's a bad way of making a difficulty setting. You're bad.
Well, even if it is, so you can like play with your kid brother, tell me that's what's going on.
Yeah, name it like kid mode.
Well, I mean, you don't even have to be like kind of condescending about it. You can say like, in this mode, your players will automatically perform a lot of actions.
Yeah, just be transparent.
Just be direct, if that's the case.
And secondarily, if the small difficulty is the people playing the game for you, that doesn't make the higher difficulties better. That just means now I have to do all that boring shit they were doing for me. That's the thing. It's a lose-lose. Because on the one hand, this game of something boring that isn't fun is playing itself. And on the other hand, now I have to play the game about something boring that isn't fun.
Well, I mean, like, and if I felt like I actually had, control over what I was doing in a greater extent, like I used to, and I'm not talking about Tecmo Bowl here, I had 2 fucking buttons. But, like, whenever, what's his name? Don't tell me, I'll remember it. He's the guy in the Packers.
Good.
That's the yellow team with the G.
Sort of.
Oh, shit. No, I'm not going to stop the podcast for it. What the fuck was his name?
Well, were you talking about...
A long time ago.
Madden? The man whose the game is named after?
No. He was really good and everyone liked him.
Joe Montana or something?
No, he was in the 49ers.
I don't know shit about football, man.
Whatever. Write it in the comments below.
Along with how bad we are at things and how we're just mad because we're bad. No, we're mad because the game isn't fun. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I've been mad because I'm bad. I can tell the difference.
Yeah, I play Overwatch. I've been mad because I'm bad.
Yes. So like I played back then, and these features were in the game. Fucking team creation was in the game. Fucking, I could play them in quick play. I felt like I had control over what I was doing. In this game, I don't. And not just because if I don't touch the controller, the game plays itself, but also because when I do touch the controller, my input is sometimes just straight up disregarded.
Yeah, sometimes it is. That's very frustrating, by the way.
So, yeah, we did an experiment to see if those different difficulties gave us more control or not, because it wasn't worth it at that point.
The game wouldn't have been fun if they had. The game would have just been, like, more tedious. And also still not fun.
Brett Favre.
Okay. Alright. I don't know that I'd qualified as a long time ago. He retired, like, 3 years ago or something.
No, he retired, like, longer than that.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Anyhow, but he was on the cover. He was huge at the time. And it was on the N64, so...
That's the last game you played. You're just trying to like.
That's the last one I remember, and I think the one I rented after that was like a college football game anyway. So, just because they had neater color options for the socks, clearly it's what I give a shit about. This little foray into sports gaming was incredibly interesting, and I wouldn't mind doing it again in the future. I don't know when, because we've actually for once got a lot of stuff planned. But, hockey's out there.
You're right, 2010.
2010.
Is when Brett Favre retired.
How about that? Which game was he on? N64.
We'll look it up.
Look it up. I'll keep talking. Brandy has said she might want to do a baseball one with me, so we'll see if baseball ones are good. Did I say hockey? There's hockey. There's proper football. There's...
Yeah, just so we're clear, I actively hate baseball. I'm not playing a baseball game.
No, and I wouldn't want to make you. That's why I asked Brandy if she was interested. There was another one. Like, we could probably do tennis or golf. I actually like those sports.
NFL Club 1998.
Yeah.
That'll be it?
Maybe. Yeah, I think that was it. So there we go. Wasn't even a Madden game.
NFL Quarterback Club 1998 by Acclaim Sports.
Yep, it was definitely Acclaim. Yeah, so I don't... Like, you guys who like sports games, and I know there's a couple of you out there...
Could you explain how we're
Could
bad?
you explain it? Like, because I don't... This isn't fun. I play the wrestling games, and they give me so much control over everything I do. And they have a lot of simulationist aspects that to an outsider would seem arbitrary. Like the rope break rule.
And even stuff similar to basketball games. Like, if you pick Heath Slater, and he picks Brock Lesnar... Well, son...
You're about to get wrecked. But, I mean, you can also just make a dude.
That's the thing. Is like, yeah, you're right. I want to play the thing I like. Oh, well, I want to be Heath Slater. You want to be Brock Lesnar. Well, then we can just buff Heath Slater.
Sure. And, like, I can do that in this game, too, but, like, whereas in the WWE game, most of the stats are, like, strength, grapple power, strike power. There's shit that, like, uses the super insider terminology of basketball that I was like, I don't fully understand what you mean by that.
Power forward thrust. I'm not trying to buff his dick, dude. I don't know what that means.
Well, and, like, it took me a while to figure out what the fuck paint control was. I knew where the paint was. What am I controlling about it?
People's access to it, turns out.
Sure, yeah. And there was a couple of other stats that was like, okay... draw foul. Does this mean this player draws a lot of fouls? Or does this mean this player is really good at drawing fouls?
I would imagine the second one.
But there's no way of knowing, because it's not like there was a fucking help button. And good God, it'd take forever to make a dude. I didn't even remember an option to just go in and be like, players be better. So...
Buff this person.
Whatever. Yeah, if you could explain that to us, that'd be fucking spiffy.
That'd be peaches and cream. About the basketball game. I don't want to play the football game.
No. Maybe if you let us play the football game. Maybe like, if it were fun.
Yeah, like, if you want to explain the football game to me, feel free to do so in the comments. I'm not going to play the football game, though. We're done.
That ship has sailed. The fucking Family Video is lucky it's got its copy back. Next week, I'm going to let you guys know now. We'll let you know again at the top of the next podcast. Yes, the pay-per-view is occurring, but we will not be covering the pay-per-view next week. Next week, we're going to kick off our anniversary month.
Because next week is the start of May, which is our anniversary, and to be perfectly frank, the WWE has fucked everything since WrestleMania, so I don't care about the pay-per-view, so we're going to start our anniversary first. Fuck you!
We will be covering the pay-per-view the week after.
Yeah.
There's also some scheduling concerns, but we will have a special surprise for you guys next week, and I hope it's not as shitty as other things we've done.
Special surprises here on the Shooters Podcast do not have a great history.
It's hit or miss. Like, it's everyone fucking loves it or everyone fucking hates it.
Well, one way or another, they're giving us the go-home cue, so everything's better when nerds talk about it.